Welcome. We're here today. We have an amazing guest. We're going to teach you something today. We're going to teach you about finances and how you can live better and what you can do to finance and make things better for you, your family, and everybody around. And remember, knowledge is powerful. I have an extreme special guest today that I am so delighted to have you on. And would you just share your name with everyone here?
My name is Galit Tsadik. I call myself the financial sharktress. So
Okay.
I'm so happy to be here and to be able to share a little bit about finances and financial literacy.
Okay. Well, I'm sure with the way the economy's been going on and everything is so high, particularly because of this COVID and everything, please teach us from start one how you normally would set the tone to educate all of us on our finances.
So the number one thing that I tell my clients is you have to actually look at your reality. And I think that this is the biggest thing that people are scared of. And I want to invite you to not be scared. Because even if your money and your financial situation is as bad as you think it is, that only gives you a place to start and to improve from. You cannot win a race if you don't know where your starting line is. You're just going to keep going around in circles.
Okay.
So, number one thing is find out where you are today. And you can do that by getting together like 3 months of bank statements and credit card statements and all your different loans. Just get it and put it all together in the same place.
Okay.
And then you don't have to tackle it all in one shot. I think that's another big mistake that people go and do, right? They you know, get gung ho about it. Like, I'm going to do it today. I'm going to put everything together and I'm going to spend the next 4 hours on this. You wear yourself out and then you never want to look at it again. I say take the first step, get all the things, put them in one place. Tomorrow, give yourself 20 minutes.
Okay.
Sit down and do one thing. So if you're going to go through all your bank and credit card statements, see how much you're actually spending on different things in your life. What are you actually spending on, your phone bill? What are you actually spending on eating out, on groceries, on your toiletries? I want you to start to live in what is your reality. Because the thing that I see most often when people go to do budgets is they create a budget based on what they think they spend. And a lot of times it's completely different from what they're actually spending.
I
And so when
see.
they try to hold themselves to that budget, they can't and they get discouraged because that's not their reality. And the second thing is leave room in your budget for the things that matter to you. So if getting your nails done or doing your hair or getting a haircut every month matter to you, make sure that there is a space for that in your budget. Like give that money in your month a job. And
Okay.
even if that job is to take care of you. Yeah.
That's very
So
sound advice. It sounds to me a good relationship. And why do you think it's difficult for? Do you think that is that people are afraid to really afraid? But they
yeah,
have no problem spending the money, but they're just afraid to look at it, what they're spending.
exactly.
I see. I
Yeah,
see.
people are afraid to look at it. They're afraid that it's going to be as bad as they think it is. They're afraid to like be proved right. A lot of us are taught at a young age that we're not good with money or that we don't know how to handle our own money. And I hear that over and over. Oh, I'm just not good at math. I'm not good at money. And these are stories that we tell ourselves. What it comes down to is we are good. We're naturally hardwired to do math.
Okay.
As much as you don't believe it, even the most creative artistic people, we are dealing with angles. We're dealing with symmetry. Your brain just works like that. So if you tell yourself this story that you're not good with numbers or you're not good with money, you're creating a reality for yourself in which you're not good with money. Because the actual reality, not the story that you're telling yourself, is that you do understand math. You do understand numbers and ratios. Like I had a makeup artist that I spoke to, and she was like, I'm not good at math. I'm like, do you get the right amount of product to make the colors that you're making? You understand ratios. Are
Right.
you doing the angles correctly on somebody's face? You understand angles, you understand math. You're just coming at it from a different perspective. So you have to learn it in a way that makes sense to you.
And that makes perfect sense to me. Audience, please take notes, write this down. This is very important. This is sustaining a better life for yourself. And tell me, what about the people that they feel like they're paying so much already, and then they get a notice that things are going to go up another 1%, 2%, 5%. How do those people still manage to? What do you suggest that they do for the inflation?
So inflation is a huge issue, right?
It's
The
definitely
biggest
reality.
thing, yeah, the biggest thing that you can try to do is get more income, right? And I know that's like a really hard thing to do, but sometimes it's about negotiating with the employer that you currently have for a raise. So many times people don't ask for more money and they just keep struggling. Ask for more money and
Okay.
don't make it about what's going on at home or you
No.
know about your personal need. Show them how much value you bring to the company and show them why they can't lose you. And if they don't, be prepared to be looking for another job. Sometimes the highest raise that you can give yourself is going to another workplace because
Okay.
they'll have bigger budget for hiring new people than they are for keeping the people that are already there.
I know that.
Besides
That's
for
really true. That's really true. And
yeah. And it's sad because if you've
yeah.
been loyal to a company, you want to stay there, right? You like your job, you want to stay there, you've been loyal to them. But the sad truth is that you've got to do what is good for you because the company is doing what is good for them. So if you can, and the
All the
best time
time.
to look
That's
for a
true.
job is when you already have a job.
No, that's really true and all the time. So that's some excellent advice. I hope you out there in the audience are listening and writing these things down because it's very important to make life better for you. And in that process, that's on the job side and to get more money. What else do you think that can be done? Maybe get the children to do little odd and end jobs. Like when they get 14, should you instruct them to get working papers and get out there? Do you think that it's a good idea to teach your children from a young age the value of the dollar, and
Yeah,
you know, to instruct them that shouldn't they sit down now too and be listening and maybe learn what their little allowance, how they could save? So
definitely.
I think at the
So
earlier the age, do you recommend that?
yeah, I started working at 14.
Okay.
I recommend, like, if you can, right? Some people cannot juggle both school and work, but if you are able to, I started working full time at 14 years old. So it is possible. It's not easy,
Okay.
but my family was in a position that I felt like I needed to.
Okay.
And that was my choice, right?
Right.
So if you can, yes. But what the best thing that you can do for your kids, I love an envelope system. So if you give them an allowance or if they are making money and they have money, I want you to create 4 envelopes for them.
Okay.
One is for saving,
Okay.
another is for investing,
Okay.
a third is for spending, and
Okay.
the fourth is for charity. And you tell them when they get money, they can choose to put however much they want to in each of those 4 envelopes.
Okay.
And then they're saving money. You open them a savings account. That's what my parents did for me when I was young.
My
They
dad did that
opened
for
a
me too
savings
as well.
account for me, and any money that I earned, I was able to go and put it into the savings account so that it would start building interest for me. The same thing with the investment. You invest money for them. There are so many ways that they can do it, even as a child, right? You can have a 529 account
Okay.
for them, which is literally just pays for education. So
Okay.
you can create one of those, or you could create a Roth IRA for them and
Okay.
start them saving for retirement. There are so many ways that you can get kids started with savings. And once that's the biggest thing, especially for investing, that's how your money grows. It needs time. And you can make it grow with small amounts.
If each one teach one, and we teach our children. No, nothing's guaranteed that we will be here. So if they know pretty much the right way to go about it for envelopes. That's very
Yeah.
interesting.
I
I like
love
that.
that method.
Yeah, me
It
too.
because nowadays money is not so physical for people to understand, right? We've got credit cards. It's now all digital. When you spend money, you're not feeling it. If you have the actual cash in hand and it's in an envelope, when your child goes to spend their spending money, they see that money leave their envelope. And it's a different experience than just swiping a credit card. It feels different and you understand that it's an opportunity cost, right?
Right.
I can use this money now and get this thing that I want, or I can keep holding on to this money and get something else. But you can really, really see it when it's physical money in physical envelopes instead of just money on a screen.
Right, that's really true. Because actually, I think they would even get more from that because that's actual proof. And they can also see if the envelope gets too low that
Mhm.
they're spending too much.
Yeah.
Their
And I
mom and dad
recommend
won't
this
even have
for
to tell them
adults.
that. They'll say, "Well, I'm spending too much." Because when they go to their other friends and their other friends still have their envelopes and pretty full, then they know they're spending too much.
Yeah.
And the charity part, I really deeply, you know, being a part of our system and the way poverty is so profound in America and also across the globe. Also to teach them the value of thinking about people that have nothing and to
Yeah.
put something aside for them instead of teaching them greed. Okay, save every dime, but save it for yourself. That is just really so wonderful. That is really great. I love the idea that you thought of that. And everybody, even adults, how hard is it, you think, to really teach people that have been, I don't want to use the word selfish because it's their money, and their investments, but have for so many years just think only of their own needs. I don't want to call them misers, because they certainly have the right to do as they please with their money, as it grows. But
Yeah.
that piece there, the charity. I know a lot of people that are spiritual. They do give to the place of worship and things like that. Just out of their whatever they're making, they do go and put money in their church or their temple or whatever. But that is just, I really like that idea. I think that generates an unconditional kind of spread of humanity and helping out this world, particularly when we always having all of these disasters and things coming about. If you have a little pot for people that are overcome by negativity or earthquakes or floods or whatever it might be, something that they have a little something that can give them some inspiration, some hope.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. Maybe they can, okay, we don't have water, we don't have food, but okay, we have this here. We can get a little food and we can get a little water until we can do better. If everybody did that, what do you think would happen to our economy? What do you think would happen if everybody knew this knowledge that you have about that? Do you think things would be as bad as they are now? I mean, every day somebody's getting burnt out, the fire or the mass murders or all of these things, the kids being killed in school and all of these things. That
Yeah.
these poor
We
people that
have
don't have
to,
money, they certainly don't send their children to school to get shot down and killed and murdered. But
no.
all of these things that we talk about that's in human life are so expensive. Even these funerals and things like that. When you have young kids, you don't expect them to. You send them to school and they don't return home and you don't know anything. I don't believe there's any insurance for that either. You send your kids to school or something happens. I know if an accident happens, like say in an airplane, or say your family be compensated. I mean, you still have your lost ones, but even the railroads or something like that, they have something in place to compensate for those type of emergencies. But just day-to-day emergencies that happen and occur, I just
Yeah.
thought about that, and I know you must hear a lot of stories about that, and then people must ask you, well, what can I do to make sure that if something happens to me or something unexpectedly happens, what do you suggest? How do they save for that? Where would that come from? Which one would you say?
Yeah, so that would be your saving envelope,
Okay.
right? What I recommend that people do is start with a small amount.
Okay.
So I call this paying yourself first.
Okay.
All of your bills are going to chase after you to get paid. And what happens is if you pay them first, there will be nothing left for you. So I tell people to pay themselves first. And what
Okay.
that means for me is take a small amount. So that could be $1, it could be $5, it could be $20, but you set up an automatic transfer from your checking account into a savings account. Now, you can go to something called nerdwallet.com and find like the best savings account, which is giving the highest amount of interest. That is what I recommend doing. It's usually going to be an online bank. Make sure
Okay.
it's FDIC insured. It will
Okay.
be an online bank because brick and mortar have overhead. And the
Okay.
more overhead, the less they're going to give you on your money.
I
But
see.
set up an automatic transfer of $5 a week
Okay.
from your checking account into a savings account and let that go. Wait 2 months. If you didn't feel that $20, you didn't feel that $5, you didn't feel it lacking, set up a second automatic transfer. Leave that first one alone, set
Okay.
up another one.
Okay.
And every 2 to 3 months, check in again and see if you could put in another automatic transfer. Once it hurts, delete the last one that you did.
Okay.
So keep the rest going, and what you will do is you will gradually teach yourself to live on less because there will be less money in your checking account. You will build a savings account that you can use for, unexpected things that happen.
Okay.
And you're also going to become more intentional with the money that you have because there's going to be less of it in the checking account. So you're going to ask yourself before you buy something, is this helping me reach my goals or is this hurting me reaching my goals?
Right.
And that's the question that you need to be asking really anytime that you spend money. And that doesn't mean that you can't spend money on yourself. That just means that you want to be more intentional with how you spend, right? So maybe it is like I fully admit that I get massages. And
Okay.
that's something that helps me because I work in front of a computer all day
Okay.
and my neck hurts. And
Okay.
so there is always money in my budget for that purpose because that literally helps me reach my goals of being able to provide for my family. You
Okay.
know, I
Right.
have to
Absolutely.
I
And
have
being able
to
to
be
be
healthy
comfortable
and
and
run
not
my
having your
business.
neck hurt, because the neck
Yeah,
is a very sensitive area because it doesn't have it's very light. It doesn't have the, you know, it's a very light area. So once you sleep wrong or too much, it really will hurt. And I know about that when I was in the hospital. Just having to lay there and stuff like that. Listen. No, that's really good. This is really, really great. We got to have you back, I'm sure,
thank
because
you. And then I wanted to say something else.
please
What you
tell
said
us
about
all. We want to
charity.
learn.
Yeah,
Yeah, please.
I really believe in the power of community, and it's so important to do charity. And even if you cannot, give actual money, you can donate of your time. And I just believe that as a community, we can lift each other up and grow together. So if
Yes.
everyone is helping everyone, we won't get into the same types of situations that we're seeing because you'll care about each other,
Right.
right? You need to know each other. You need to go out and speak to the other members of your community and the other members of the human race, right?
Yes,
We have to
absolutely.
talk to each other
We're
and
all connected.
love each other.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah,
This has
so
been so
any type of
wonderful.
charity that
Yeah.
you can do, and it doesn't have to be of your money. If you feel like you don't have it, that's fine. You can use your time.
That's very knowledgeable, and that I really want to thank you. I learned a lot myself, but particularly now that I have, great grands, that nieces and nephews that try to like. I've been setting up the little savings accounts and things like that, but I'm not sure if they understand the value of me doing it. Like, say, me doing it for them as opposed to this 4 envelope piece when they're getting their allowance and they're actually learning from experience, actual experience. Because, you said something that's so important. Somewhere along the line, we have too much greed and not enough for charity and for other individuals. I could say the ratio is probably 1% and 100% greed, probably around the globe. So it's not. So it's really something that we're doing wrong. That's missing. If we were to start right now, like you said today, and start taking these measures and doing this and telling everybody about it, the people in our family, our friends, and everybody gets on board with the economy and everything, even as disastrous as it is, I think we'd be, instead of the 1%, I think we can move to at least 15%.
Yeah.
Within maybe 20 years? About 20 years, because the time is the most important factor that you said, that it takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time for us to really start doing it. And online, it's a lot of people that are so afraid now with these banks collapsing and these banks, they don't trust the banks. It's like, I hate to say it's like about 100 years ago, like that, where everybody wanted to hide the money in the house. you know what I mean? And the frontier, nobody wants to trust the bank. But the only reason why they change their mind is because they get a little interest. Whereas you just save it yourself, you're not going to get any interest.
If you've got money sitting in your house, you're losing money every day on it. Think about it like that. Any money that is sitting in your house, not only is it unsafe, right? Because someone can break into your house, but you're also losing money on it. It is not growing for you. That's why it's super important that when you do choose a bank, you choose a bank that's FDIC insured.
Right.
If it is FDIC insured, you are fine up to $250,000. So that money is insured. You have that money. Investments are not going to be insured, right? But investments are more risky, but they also give your money more
Of a
room
punch,
to grow.
more of a bang. You're going to make more money with the investments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's risk and there's reward. You're going to get a greater risk and reward for investments, but at least if you don't feel comfortable making investments, at least get it into a high interest savings account, because that will make sure that your money doesn't stay stagnant, that it keeps growing, right? Anything that you've got, and I was guilty of this when I first started working, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was stuffing money into a seat cushion because I was saving up for my first car. That was not necessarily the right thing for me to do. Maybe that was, good for me.
But you
as
could
a
see
kid,
that
and
each
like,
time, I think, but you felt comfortable because you could see each time you're stuffing this money. And once you got that point that you made with the car dealer and had that much, you just go right over there.
yeah, I bought my first car at 17, all cash,
All
from
right.
money that I had saved from the age of 14. So yes, there is something to that, which is why I still, like, I'm a proponent of the envelopes, right?
Right.
Like, I believe in it.
Yeah.
And it's okay if you're doing that, but as an adult, we need to take a little bit more ownership over our money. I had to, right? I had to make sure that I'm not just stuffing it into a seat cushion, right? I
Right.
want to make sure that I'm putting it in a bank where it is making more money for me.
Absolutely. I do that. I mean, but you have people that are strongly opposed against the banks now. What's the last thing? I was at the theater, Lincoln Jazz, and there was a woman that, that bank that collapsed. She had made an investment with them on like about $750,000, and she was just heartbroken during the concert, saying that that she would only get back a little margin of the money because she had just made an investment that's 700 something thousand. And we were at the Lincoln Jazz, and she was practically crying, the woman, and her daughter also had. And I mean, these evil things happen. How would you would say you'd have to be United States insured, and it should be FDIC, and I think they were, but they still lost a great sum of money. They were just heartbroken. Because they wanted to put that money with their business that they had, a little business. But
It's only up to 250,000.
Yeah, but
So
I heard
anything
what you
over
said.
250,000, you gotta put
Right, and
somewhere
what you
else.
said is that you need to be doing that in the different banks, so that way you can't. The challenge won't be messed up for you. 250,000 in this one, 250,000 in that one.
Exactly.
Exactly. And if they would have known, I'm sure they would have done it. But thank you so much. I need to have you come back on because I'm gonna see what can be done in a couple of months. I'm not that bad off, but the thing is, to me, because I have all of these kids, because I have all of these the graduation, the new babies, the new this and that, all these expenses. I know about my vacations. I know about the things that I do, but per se, if my nephew, he's in college or thing, and or auntie, or you know what I mean, or you know what I mean, the family issues, you know what I mean. You know how it is with the family and certain things. Because of our culture, we usually try to do these things. The sweet 16, college graduation, high school graduation. So it's expensive. So we're going to talk about that next time because we're going to wrap up. The envelopes, I'm going to put that out there in this universe. And I thank you so much and sincerely for being on the show. And I can't wait to have you back.
Thank you. I'm excited to be back.
I'm excited to have you back. Thank you so much.